Howdy folks. Today I have energized the Wayback Machine and gone back about a century to a simpler time and a time without processed sugar in our cornbread. This is some genuine old-fashioned stone ground cornmeal, and I'm using a recipe that came from Anson Mills. That is their traditional one. It uses no sugar because the sugar is right here in the corn. The stuff is so fresh that you're supposed to keep it frozen. So I'm going to build it according to the recipe to establish a baseline and find out what it's like. And what better to serve it with than some old-fashioned red beans with rice. Camellia, naturally. I generally scale it down for just me and use about a half a pound of beans. Too many. Whoops. Put one back. Alright. Make up your mind. One more. Half a pound. Since these take a whole lot longer than the cornbread, I'm starting them first. Rinse them, pick out any rocks, and add about 4 cups of water to a half a pound of beans. Bring it up to a boil and get it started simmering. Stir it up a little. Put a lid on it and let it get started cooking. Turn the heat down to a simmer. This will take anywhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours. That's why it gets a head start. While that's getting going, dice up a small onion. Doesn't really matter how coarse or fine because you're going to cook it to death anyway. And slice up some celery. I'll keep that one. And then for this much, I'm going to slice up about, out of there, 1/3 of a pound of a good smoked sausage. Let me in. Oh, about that much. Put the rest back in the freezer. Cut them into whatever shape you want. I like to just make them as bite-sized coins. That'll work. Now I brown the sausage a little just to bring out its flavor. Give it a few minutes. And after it's got a little color on it, add in the onion and the celery and a healthy toe or two of garlic. turn the heat down and let them sweat a little and get to know one another. And when they've had time to think and soften a little, dump them in with the beans. All of you now. Put the top back on and go on about your business. What's the deal? What's up? You think you're just Mr. Cool up there? Goofus. Yeah, nice and resealable. That's not 100 years old. This is exactly 12 weighed ounces, and their recipe is by weight, calling for 12 ounces, roughly 2.5 cups of their stone ground cornmeal. I'm adding 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of salt, and whopping it all together. And that's it for the dry ingredients. Now for the wet ingredients. Well, 2 ounces or 4 tablespoons of butter. And when it's just melted, add 12 ounces of whole milk. And warm this slowly. We don't want to get it hot. You ought to be able to stick a finger in it and then lick the finger. And now when that's just slightly warm, spoon just a little of it into an egg that has been thoroughly flogged. Mix that together, and then add that egg and the mixture back into the pan. And whisk them together. Trying not to splash it all over the place. And back over here, pour all of this into all of that. And whisk it all together. According to the recipe, you come up with a moderately thin batter. And that sure is looking like what this is. And back over here again, we take about 2 teaspoons, a dollop of bacon grease, pour it into the pan, put it into the pan that has been preheating in the oven. Let that melt, slosh it all around, and then pour the batter mix into it. And if it doesn't sizzle when you pour it in, it's not warm enough. Get all of it. And then put that on the lower rack in a 425-degree oven and bake it for 15 minutes. And after those 15 minutes, move it to an upper shelf. Oh, shut up. For another 5 to 10 minutes until it's a nice golden brown. I told you to shut up. Thank you. And after 7 more minutes, it looks something like this. Actually, it looks a lot like this. And it's time to give it a try. Oh, about that much. Oh, this is good. Totally different than modern cornbread made with modern automated cornmeal. It's a coarser texture. It's naturally sweet. And it tastes like corn. It's also hot. A little butter. Oh, that second bite was even better than the first. This is a whole different world from modern day cornbread. I could get used to this. Sorry, Martha White. Oh, forget the beans. I might just have this for supper. Wow. I am seriously impressed. A little rice. Oh, just put it all on there. And top it with some beans. Ooh, I get the bay leaf. These beans smell really good too. That's enough for now. I believe piggery approaches. Add, of course, a little of the champagne. And I call it dinner. Yum. And I added a little salad, a little iceberg, some broccoli, some cauliflower, some red sweet peppers, a little tomato, a bunch of blue cheese, olives for Larry, and a light balsamic vinaigrette. I am set. I definitely recommend trying this. This is what cornbread is supposed to be.